In this video, we'll talk about sponsored brand ads on Amazon, which are often not fully utilized by Amazon sellers. It's because they don't know how to set them up or have a wrong idea of their purpose. In this video, PPC expert Ritu Java shares 5 tips for sponsored brand ads that will help you to build your brand and generate more sales with good conversion rates.
Hello, Ritu. Nice to see you, and happy to be here with you again today to talk about Amazon advertising. And today we are focusing on sponsored brand ads. You will share some of your tips with the sellers that they could implement to their campaigns as well. So before we do that, could you first introduce yourself and let us know what you do in the Amazon space, and also let us know how PPC Ninja is helping Amazon sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here, Lisette. This is great. It's always fun talking to you about many topics. PPC Ninja has been in the Amazon space for 5 years, and we are a software and services provider in the Amazon advertising space. So we help 6, 7, and 8-figure sellers grow their advertising profitably. So that's kind of our mission. And personally, I was, in the e-commerce space since 2010. I started off as an Etsy seller and no longer do that, but I'm more, in line with the Amazon e-commerce space, and, have been working in this space since 2016 or 2017. And I really enjoy it. And I love, having conversations like this about Amazon.
Sounds really good. So today, I think you will share 5 tips about sponsored brand ads with us. So let's go straight into it. We're excited to hear what you have for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely think that, sponsored brand ads are underutilized because a lot of people don't know how to set them up, or they think that sponsored brands ads are for driving upper funnel sales or for brand awareness. That's what Amazon wants us to believe, but that's not true. I personally use sponsored brand ads very effectively for bottom of funnel conversions, right? So my focus is generally on conversions and ROAS instead of just brand building or brand awareness. All that is great for really large brands, and it's an important tool where you can introduce them to new products that you might be, selling and advertising. But the majority of sellers on Amazon would, any day take ROAS as their focus. So that's what I help Amazon sellers with. So today I'm talking about 5 tips to improve your sponsored brand ads, and basically, hopefully encourage you guys to go back and look at your sponsored brand ads and see if you're actually running them, enough of them, and whether you've used some of these techniques or not. Okay, so I'll just jump straight into my first tip here. So the first tip is something that I notice on Amazon all the time. I notice that, whatever people type in the search bar does not match completely with what is being showcased in the headline. So for example, in this case, there is food containers disposable. So someone is obviously looking for disposable food containers, right? However, the ad that shows up is talking about multi-purpose plastic food containers with lids. Okay, so imagine if this company had, instead of just using some general keywords like food containers, I bet they did that. I bet they just use food containers as one of their keywords, so it matched to the search term, food containers. Nothing else. They didn't actually do any long tail versions of it, which is why they probably didn't really bother to connect the headline with the search term. So my recommendation is that try to get as many long tail keywords as possible into your sponsored brand ads. And I don't mean stuff them all into one ad. I mean create more ads, with each ad being very specific and very catered to whatever headline you're promoting, right? So For example, if this company were to actually advertise this keyword, food containers disposable, they would use a headline that says disposable food containers with lids. That's fine, right? There's no need to lead with something different like multi-purpose. They're not looking for multi-purpose. They're looking for disposable, right? And so because of the clash of what they are looking for and what you're showing them, there's not going to be a conversion, or even if it is, it's going to be a random one, and you'll waste a lot of money with irrelevant clicks because people will say, oh, this looks nice, let's see what it is. So they'll click into it and they'll be like, this is not the disposable container I was looking for. I was looking for something different, a different material, not plastic, whatever, right? So just make sure that you align your keywords with your headlines as tightly as possible, and don't stuff the same campaign with different types of keywords, because otherwise your headlines won't match to those, right? So the second tip I have for you is kind of obvious, but a lot of people don't do it because they're afraid, is to defend your branded keywords. So here is a keyword that I typed: t-shirts for men, Nike. So the sponsored product side of things looks fine because, you know, they're obviously ranking for their own branded terms, right? All of these are Nike shirts. However, this sponsored brand ads section is taken up by Under Armour. So obviously these guys are bidding on the word Nike, or the Nike folks did not do enough to defend their brands. You can look at it either ways. Now, when we say, defend your brand, doesn't mean that you bid extremely high and, spend a lot of money. You can obviously be specific with longer tail versions of your keywords, but make sure that, you do cover your branded keywords, at least in a bunch of sponsored brand ads that will make sure that you don't leak traffic to your competitors who will be, ready to show their ad on your branded terms. The third tip I have for you is just an example from, I think it's a Chinese brand, I'm not sure, but I think they're doing a pretty good job of using a visual hack to expand out their product images. So how did they do it? So if you understand and analyze the sponsored brand ad layout, you'll see that the actual 3 SKUs that are being advertised are these 3. So this one, and this one. However, on the left side, it looks like they're also advertising 3 more. What's happening though is that this is just a image. It was just created to create like a visual, effect that there's actually 3 clickable items here. But by doing this, what happens is that you are expanding out your, your selection. So let's say if you had 8 color or 6 colors of something, you could put each of your color variations here, and it would create like a rainbow effect or whatever. It's so eye-catching, right? Instead of breaking the visual flow, you can actually get attention like right away. So I've been sharing this kind of visual hack with a lot of our clients, and they've been creating visuals that have been doing well. So I would recommend you try this out, although this is not really a strategy, it's more like a hack, right? Another hack is this really amazing brand, Poppi, that sells beverages, cold beverages, soda pops, and so on. Now, what have they done? Of course, the brand itself is very visual, right? So they've got like bright colors and so on. They've also got a great image that, shows that rainbow, nice, bubbly kind of thing. But what they have here is what most people have not tried or can't try, which is they have text on this lifestyle photo. Now, as you guys know, that Amazon's algorithm doesn't allow text on a sponsored brand lifestyle photo. They will reject it right away. However, if your text is like this, it's a text, art text, right? Where you are basically making the text a part of your image itself, like it's making it look like it's a visual effect. Then it usually passes and they don't have a problem with it, right? So I think that's what these guys have done. So you can also try it. Like if you want to put some text in your image, just try it in different angles, different styles, so that it looks like it's part of the thing that you're selling. So it's like a lifestyle. Again, this is a hack, not really a strategy, but you can try it and see how it might work for you. So the next tip I have for you is to examine your placement data so that you can really optimize your sponsored brand ads and don't leak out or waste your spend on placements that are not working. So first of all, it's important to understand that even within sponsored brands, there are two placements. The placements are top of search and below top of search. They don't really have a name for it, but they just call it below top of search, which basically means this placement could be at the bottom of the search results page on page 1 or any other page. This placement could also be on a product detail page, right? It could be under the, the product description area, etc. So there's many different places where this might show up. Now, if you look, this page, this placement on top of the search results page is a lot more visually attractive than the one at the bottom, right? Well, at least to me, right? Because there's the humans there, right? Humans always make a difference. When you have humans in the photo, it's way more effective than if you just have the product. Now, we don't know that till we look at the data. So it's important to look at the data to see, is this placement converting better or is this one converting better? So how do you find out which one is doing better? First of all, you have to understand that there is a setting in your sponsored brands that's called automated bidding. When this is turned off, the way it is in my screenshot here, then you can actually make adjustments for placements that are below top of search, right? You can say decrease by, and in my case, I've said 99%, which means decrease all the way down. Like you can't go below this, right? All the way down, decrease by 99%. So it will lower your bids by 99%. And basically that means you may not be able to enter the auction for those placements that are not top of search, which is fine, which is what you might want in certain cases. Now, I have written a full blog post on this, so it's on the screen here if you want to go check it out. However, I'll share one thing from this blog post where I show you a different way of finding this information. And this is from your sponsored brands placement report. If you download that, you'll be able to filter on the placement type. As you can see here, the placement types show other placements and it shows top of search. So I'd like you to uncheck top of search so that you can examine other placements. And when you examine that, you can look at your total advertising cost of sale, which is your ACoS basically, and see what your ACoS is at those other placements, right? In this example, my ACoS is going all the way from 0.5% ACoS, amazing, to all the way up to 92% ACoS. So what this means is that you cannot generalize and say that top of search is the only placement that works, or not top of search is the only placement that works. It's got to be campaign by campaign, right? Every single campaign has a different way it plays out. And that's probably because of your choice of keywords, your choice of targets, right? Your choice of budgets and the image and all those things. So examine this column and then look for the ones where you're not doing great, right? So when you find something that is, let's say 50% or above in terms of ACoS, what do you want to do there? Well, you want to go and lower the placement modifier, right? That's the one that I just showed you. So let me just go back one. This is the placement modifier. You can modify your bids for not top of search so that it is decreased. And that way you can basically push all of the budget to go to the other placement, which is top of search. So I do this a lot by analyzing this report, and then I can either modify it like one by one if it's just a handful of them, or I can do it in bulk. And the method for how to do that is on the blog post that I just shared, but essentially that's the way to do it. On the flip side, if your ACoS is amazing, let's say your ACoS is really doing amazing on those placements, you can also do the opposite, which is you can increase the not top of search placement up, you can increase it by 99%. So that way you will kind of shift or influence a shift in the budget towards this other placement. Now, there's no guarantee how Amazon will split up your impressions, whether it'll go to top of search or to not top of search, but at least through these levers, you can influence the flow of visibility, right? And you can take advantage of your best placements. That's the whole idea. So the optimization is not just at the bid level, it's also at the placement level, which people don't realize because they've left that automated bidding toggle to the on mode, which means Amazon gets to pick where your ads show up, right? So that's just a optimization way to kind of improve the performance of your sponsored brand ads. So those were my 5 tips. Hopefully this was helpful. It's just small nuggets of information that I wanted to share today. But if you have questions or would like to reach out, we're always here to help you. We love to talk about PPC all day long.
Thank you so much, Ritu. Sometimes it's just like those smaller little hacks or ideas sellers need to, make some changes and see also the difference in results. So I think it's good to hear ideas like this and then try out how it would work out for the seller. So thanks for sharing those.
Absolutely.
So you showed product collection ads, and usually there is, I think it's actually a requirement to have like 3 products in there that will be displayed within the ad. So how can sellers use it when they are selling, let's say, only 2 products, for example?
Yeah, so the way to do that is to send traffic to your store page, and the store page can have 1 product or more. But if you use product collection, sending to the product collection, then it won't allow you unless you have at least 3 products. So that's the hack for, selling, for sellers who just have a single product, they can do that. The other thing they can do is they can use video ads. Those are also very effective. You can send traffic using a video ad to your storefront as well. So in addition to the product detail page, of course.
Okay, very good. And what would you say, could sellers use those sponsored brand ads campaigns when, let's say, they want to kind of increase their organic rank in certain keywords? Well, they would definitely use sponsored product campaigns, but could they include also sponsored brand ads to their strategy?
Yeah, so the goal of the sponsored brand ads, in my opinion, is basically to help with capturing the top of the search results page, because that's a very important placement and it gives you immediate visual attention, right? Immediately you see, that's the first thing you see. So it would be a waste to not create ads for that placement. And of course, people are worried about how much it might cost, because randomly people might click and may not be interested in buying. But that's the reason why I shared that your keywords need to be very closely aligned to your choice of headline, to your choice of other elements of the ad, including the image and the choice of products. So if you can do that, even for a handful of important keywords, I think it'll help you overall, right? Not only will it kickstart the sales coming to you through that channel, it'll basically you'll dominate the top of search. Now, whether those keywords directly impact ranking or not is a little bit debatable, because most sellers and people in the industry do think that it's the sponsored product ads that help you to rank faster, which is true, because sponsored products do give you a lot of placements, whereas sponsored brand is just one. So even from the comparison of how many placements sponsored products has to offer, it's going to be a much better tool for kind of ranking organically something. However, I do not believe that Amazon destroys or drops data that's coming from sponsored brand ads, because that's also useful data that Amazon uses to gauge whether something is relevant or not. So they're keeping track of keywords, whether it's coming from this ad or that. Even though the sponsored products will be a faster mechanism for achieving the ranking goals that you might have.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts. I think it's really good information for the sellers. So as we already heard, you have a lot of expertise in Amazon advertising and you're a big fan of it. So could you give us an overview what PPC Ninja is and how you're helping Amazon sellers, and And also, what's the best way to learn more about you if any sellers listening to us would be eager to learn more and see maybe you're the best fit for them?
Yep. So I think that, PPC has two aspects to it. So one aspect is where, you're optimizing bids, you're optimizing budgets, you're optimizing placement modifiers or bidding strategies, so all the settings. And there are some rules that you can set, and you can basically get that whole, optimization engine kind of fine-tuned with the help of software. I think software is a better fit for that sort of optimization and maintenance, right? So that's where we kind of brought in our ad tool, right? Our advertising platform, which helps to optimize bids and so on. So that's a good fit for that. The other aspect of PPC, which people may or may not think of as important, is the creative aspect, right? The creative side of things needs human attention, because it's something that human beings can decide. Okay, I want to rank for these keywords, or I want to go after that competitor. I want to try a different style of headline ad. I want to do A/B testing. Those are things that you need a human to be on top of it and keep trying, keep testing, looking for opportunities, and looking for ways, just a small tweak here, tweak there, connect the flywheel by, adding a keyword back into the listing and so on. So that's the reason why we created our services side of our business, because we know that both these engines are required. You need the software and you need the humans to kind of make the impact that you're looking for. So PPC Ninja is, as I mentioned initially, it is a self-serve platform. So you can use our software tool independently, or you can have us manage your ads for you, and then we will use our software internally, right? And we know how to use it best. And if anybody is interested in either of our services, you can just reach out to us. We are available at support@ppcninja.com, and our website is ppcninja.com. I also want to mention that we run a free mastermind program in case people are interested. It's a 4-week program, and we keep running them. As soon as we finish one, we take a little break and then we get back to it. So multiple times a year, we will have the PPC mastermind on. So I don't know what time you listen to this, but whenever it is, just reach out to us, go to our website and sign up for the PPC mastermind, and you'll be informed. You'll be in the email cycle. So those are some of the ways in which you can interact with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you're watching us now and you have any thoughts about the presentation, or you have some questions from Ritu, then definitely leave those as comments. Then we can ask Ritu to come back to the video and answer those as well. So thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you soon again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lizette. It was great fun, as always, being with you.
I hope after watching this video, you will start to use or improve your existing sponsored brand ad campaigns. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below, and hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more content like this. If you want to try Ritu Java's software called PPC Ninja, you will find the links and offer below in the description. And now I recommend you to watch other video with Ritu, where she explains how to use the Amazon Search Query Performance Report to analyze search volume data for relevant keywords.